Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Pet Prana's Tipsy Tuesdays, where the third Tuesday of each month we get together and we talk about what's going on in the energy and with our pets. And it's such a lovely opportunity for us all to connect and, talk about what's going on in our lives, what's going on with our furry friends, and share some tips and information and, anything that really lights us up. And I know that this has been, a strange few weeks, or definitely past week. So let's start off by just taking a nice deep breath. So I'm going to invite you to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth with sound, just to move that energy that tends to get stuck in our bodies. Let's take a moment to really call back into our bodies all of our awareness. And watch those golden flecks of light return to us from any timelines, situations, dynamics, worries, anywhere where it's no longer serving us. And just watch it fill up your body until your body is head to toe, brilliant, vibrating, and feeling restored. And know that throughout our call, those little bits and pieces will continue returning to us, so that we feel anchored into our own inner wisdom, knowing, and our own divinity. Okay. So beautiful. So happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. What a fun and kind of perfect day for us to have a Tipsy Tuesday. In the past, we might have been, planning on going to a parade or out with friends. I know in my 20s in New York City in the Hoboken area, this was a really big day of all-day partying. And so, how interesting that we've come to quite a different place. One thing out here in California that I've noticed is the past couple of days we've had these beautiful, beautiful rainbows. And so it's quite perfect as, St. Patrick's Day is all about those rainbows and that pot of the gold at the end of the rainbow. So what I wanted to do today is just talk a little bit and borrow that metaphor, because we celebrate rainbows on St. Patrick's Day and that proverbial pot of gold. So I'm hoping that during this call, we each can share a little bit about what our pot of gold has been through this all. It's definitely been times where, we've had to reconsider whether we are going out, how we're spending our time, finding new and different ways for us to entertain, our family members and our furry friends as well. So there's really been a shift in perspective. And I just wanted to share my experience a little bit as well, because no matter how much we try to stay kind of grounded and focused, I will admit that, the past few days, especially, I think it was over the weekend, I was very much engaged with the news and screens, right? Whether it was the TV screen or social media. And when we kind of allow that to be our world, we can get lost in the panic a little bit. I was seeing all sorts of pictures pop up about, stores being empty, and, it does send a little bit of that shiver down our spines. One thing that really shifted for me is, although I am adhering to social distancing, luckily in California, we do have a lot of open space. So, it was such a big contrast when I was indoors and just, watching the news and looking at social media versus when I went outside for a brief walk and I saw that people were there, people were smiling, there was nature around me. And so that was a little bit of my pot of gold at the end of the rainbow through this all. I really was able to see that once away from the screens and the news that was being, fed and shared and told, when I looked at the bigger picture, I saw, people being really kind to each other and smiling even if from a distance. I saw, people walking their dogs and just the joy that dogs would bring to anyone who passed them by on the streets, the chuckle that we'd give when we see them wagging their tail or jumping or chasing a ball. I think that there's also a lot of really interesting things happening as well that includes, us all making it a priority to check in with each other. Sometimes our days are so busy and hectic that we don't really take time to check in. And this has all been an excuse to reach out to people and reconnect and see how they're doing, and especially our family members. And sometimes our older family members who might not have as much going on in their day-to-day, and we do. So they may be sitting around thinking about us a lot, but we're going about our 9 to 5 or, whatever our routine is. Now we all feel like we're checking in more with each other, which is beautiful. And then, environmentally, it's lovely that we're all, making sure that we are being less wasteful. When there's the thought of, gosh, perhaps I might not have constant access to a supermarket or, whatever it might be, we're a bit more mindful with our resources, which ultimately I think will be a fantastic thing as we move forward environmentally speaking. Maybe we won't be so wasteful with that toilet paper that all of a sudden in a moment of crisis we were so concerned with. We're not going to be so, we'll think twice before we're wasteful with food. So there does seem to be a lot of, beautiful things happening right now. Of course, we don't want to discount, people's worries and fears and that people are getting sick. But it's really beautiful to be able to step away from the screens, and whether it's safely taking a walk outside or even just looking out your window and, catching some sky, it really helps you shift your perspective and see a bigger picture. And, this is going to be such an important frame of mind for us all to be in, because when this is all said and done and, quote unquote, business is back to normal, there's going to be a lot of small businesses and even big corporations that are going to need help. And we're all going to have to roll up our sleeves and come together as a community to support each other and make sure that as a collective we find this new beautiful way forward where everybody is supported. So there will be time to do and change and implement, but this seems to be a beautiful time for us all to really kind of replenish, refresh, reconnect, perhaps learn something new, take time to finish a project that we weren't able to get around to, or just spend some quality time with our animal companions or our family members. So, I would love to hear as we go into today's discussions and today's Q&A, what your pot of gold has been, so far in this situation, whether it's finding time to do something or spending more time with family, or maybe just an aha or, a different point of view on your community, your neighbors, your family. So with that being said, we've got a lot of folks with their hands up, which I'm so excited for. We also have questions in the Q&A. If you are new to our Tipsy Tuesdays and you would like to interact live, *2 will raise your hand, and we'll get to as many folks as we absolutely can. And if you're on the webcast, you can always type a question into the Q&A box. One thing I've noticed, I've had a lot of fifth chakra clearing going on. I think a lot of us have about, speaking our truth and what our truth looks like. Not to mention that, what's going on physically in the world does have to do with, throat and bronchial and lungs and all that good stuff. So if I start, getting a little bit of a dry throat, I'm going to put myself on mute if it's distracting to you guys, but I will be right back. Okay, so let's start off. I see a hand up, and I believe this is Miss Mary Beth in good old Buffalo. So 1 second, let me take you off mute. Mary Beth, are you there?
I am, Denise.
I'm here. How are you doing? How's everything up where you are?
Well, I'm in New York State, and Buffalo is pretty far from New York City, and New York City is pretty much in a lot of trouble, but the whole state has pretty much shut down. The bars, the bars and the restaurants, the gyms, the yoga studios, the Erie County, the county I live in, they've asked all massage therapists to stop. So that's one of the primary things I do. But we've had some nice weather, and yes, going outside has been wonderful. And sorry, I was getting another call. Just declined that call. I'm so glad you talked about the pot of gold. Yes, all those things you said, like the checking in with everybody. And I think for me, like finding ways to be more creative and connecting. Like I'm very connected to my Unity of Buffalo community, and we were going to have a retreat over the weekend, and that got canceled, but we did connect over the phone. We did a big conference call, and it was really positive, and I think everyone felt so supported in it. And so I'm doing a similar one with my work colleagues, because basically I work at a healing center where there's mainly massage therapists, and we're all self-employed. So it's just been really interesting. But I feel like like you said, the fifth chakra, the fourth chakra, it's just being opened, and we're going forward, finding a new way to share, with each other and to support one another. So I know it's a hard time for many, and I'm grateful that, I don't have to be super worried about not working for a few weeks. Like I have enough. I'm older, so I have enough savings. I have a colleague who's in her 20s who's very worked up and, doesn't know what she's going to do. And so I'm hoping that when we have our call today, we can figure out how to support each other, just be creative in different ways.
Oh, I love that. I love everything you said, and how wonderful that you still were able to kind of get together and, come up with, opportunities to connect. 'Cause that's really what we want in this moment, right? No matter what we're kind of nervous about, whether it's, we have the savings, but, we're not sure what's going to happen, or maybe we're older and we're worried about actually our health and wellness, or maybe we're young and we don't have the savings to lean on. We all still want to feel seen, heard, and supported, no matter what's kind of going on in our lives. So I love that, and I'm so convinced that your voice is going to be, excuse me, one second.
Speaking of voices.
Ooh, sorry, just one more second. I'm going to put myself on mute.
Denise, just know we're blessing your voice right now. Your voice is so soothing to all of us.
Oh my goodness, thank you. It's so interesting because my voice is completely fine and I'm able to talk no problem until I get on these calls, which makes me feel like there's some sort of healing going on. One more moment. Hold on. Oh my goodness, thank you for holding the space. Just a deep breath. So what I was feeling into is that your voice and your ministry was the word they were using, is going to be so powerful right now. And you used the word soothing, which is exactly what they were bringing forth about your voice and your energy and your words and your messages. So, it's interesting because they're bringing up for all of us, whether or not it's solution-oriented just the act of speaking, calming, and acknowledging is such a tremendous gift in this time. You know, because we none of us feel like we're fully, you know, kind of rooted, or nobody quite knows what to say or what the truth is or what's going to happen, because we can never know the future. But you can speak of love, of support, of community, and let people know they're being heard. And that's really what people need right now, is the reassurance that they're not in this alone, that we all share a lot of the same things. So thank you for holding the space for that. Like I said, it's so interesting. I talk on the phone all day, but once I get on anything where we're doing anything energetic, the coughing and the clearing just comes through. So very powerful time for all of us. Does anything come up for you? How's Cricket handling this all? How are you handling this, generally speaking, I guess? Any questions that I might be able to help you with?
Well, I was wondering about Cricket. I think she's handling it pretty well. In fact, I looked at her this morning. I said, "Yeah, you're not fussed at all. You're just sleeping through everything." But and we've been spending a lot more time cuddling, which has been wonderful. But there are times when she's clearly trying to give me a message. Now, I know sometimes it's a really basic message, like she usually goes outside. She doesn't use the litter box very often, but the weather hasn't been that great. So sometimes I know it's like, "Hey, get down there and clean out that litter box." So I know that's the message sometimes. But lately, you know, she's been having she's been really vocal, and she's like looking right at me, and she wants my attention. So I don't know if there's anything specific or if everything that was all like in the moment. No, there is. Okay.
This is what she's telling you. Remember the litter box store that you did and you decorated? There's something really powerful that she's bringing for you to put over your door frames, both for the front door and also internal kind of doorways and arches. So feel into it. Feels like it's a little bit of light language. It might feel like a scribble or something, but there's some sort of like symbols or decor that she wants you to put over those door frames, your front door, but also the arches that you go through. There's some sort of quote-unquote decoration that is going to help just kind of like cleanse the energy in the home.
Oh, interesting.
So as you feel creative, keep that in mind.
Okay, yeah, I was actually working with some of my Karuna Reiki symbols yesterday. I was tracing them and just retracing them, and I've got to paint my basement steps, which is her door. It's the door she goes through to get to the litter box. She goes down those steps, and I was going to pencil those all in on the steps and then paint them.
Lovely.
That's funny that you mentioned the door, because we actually solved, I think, in my opinion, we solved the problem. There was no way for me to eliminate the hard plastic thing that she didn't like the feel of. So what I did was I got my handyman to create like this little chain and hook, so we just have it hooked open. So
nice.
Is that working for her?
It's working for her, and what she's saying is she's so far beyond that right now. There's so much more she's working on that's like old news. So she's like, "Yep, that'll do." But she's really more focused on this, like you creating symbols for your home now. Yeah, kind of expanding that project.
I love the idea of the light language, because as you were talking, I was scribbling some light language. So
that's
kind of
awesome.
fun.
And so play with it, because I'm not sure whether it's something that you like tape up and it changes, you know, every couple of days, or if it's something to be a bit more permanent, or, you know, whatever it may be. Just be open to what this is. There's something really interesting and like portal-esque about it.
Portal-esque. I love that word, Denise.
Talk about making up words and language, but yeah. So that is so fun, and it's going to be such a great reminder for all of us. Hygiene is obviously top of mind, washing our hands, but our energetic hygiene and the hygiene of the house energetically also is going to be so important as people are feeling a bit more stagnant. So these symbols might be a way to help move through that energy.
Yes, I love that. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Such cool insights, and thank you for holding the space. I'm sure it won't be the last time I have to mute myself on this call, but I'm so grateful.
Could I ask one more quick question? So we're having a call today with my colleagues, and I are having a call, and I'm really not like the leader of the group at all, but I was kind of the one that kind of pushed for the call. But is there any guidance for me?
You are the leader of the group. So really what they're showing is this is kind of, and it's so interesting that you say that, because remember with healing with chakras, the fifth chakra was all about stepping into your leadership and your unique leadership. And this is a time where they need you to lead. It might not be from a business standpoint or organizing standpoint, but you can lead, maybe starting off the call with something, similar to what we did or whatever you're drawn to, something where it's like it started off with positivity and people feeling heard. So please know this is you stepping into your leadership and your quote-unquote ministry, kind of your ministry voice is what they're saying.
Now that you say all that, like I kind of knew that. Thank you.
You just needed to have that permission from someone else. So just know, you don't need permission. This is who you are, and you're being called by, the circumstances to really step up.
Yeah. And as you were saying, I was thinking, and like just energetically, from an energetic standpoint as well. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Denise.
Totally.
Thank you.
So much love to you and Cricket.
Thank
you for calling in. I'm going to put you back on mute. All right, we have another hand up, and this looks like it's Miss Kelly from Wisconsin. So 1 second. Going to take you off mute. Hello, Miss Kelly. How are you?
Hi, Denise. I'm doing well, thank you. I wanted to share that, 2 or so years ago, I would not be in this type of a state of mind of peace and calmness that I'm experiencing now. I feel like I've really, really grown consciously and, from an awakening to so many things standpoint that I'm just really not having struggles. And so, that could change tomorrow, but I'm really just appreciating where I am. And as you stated in your intro, I think this virus is going to really open us a lot more to what's really happening around the world. And so I think there's a lot of good that's going to come out of it. So that's just my feelings on it at this point.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I like that optimism and the positivity. Nothing's ever stagnant in the world. It's all about cycles and evolution. And, sometimes it can be, going on to the next phase can be a little scary, or there can be some growing pains, but there's always going to be something new and something that grows and evolves. So I love that perspective.
Yeah, just curious if you're getting anything that's coming through for me today, Denise.
Okay, so let me check in. And they're asking me to ask you what category, what area of your life, because they want you to actually ask the question that you want to ask.
Oh, oh, how lovely. What do I want to ask about today? Well, that's just the thing. Everything is going well. The business is going well. I'm really enjoying my teachings, and I'm getting so many new clients and making beautiful relationship connections. That's all good. I guess the place that I feel that could be a little more nourishing would be in relationships. Now, I'm building some great relationships through my business, but unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, they're all women, and I have a lot of male friends, but I'm still looking for, a partnership. And so I'm just wondering if maybe that's where they're steering me.
That's exactly where they were. So they're like, but she needs to ask the question. And so the relationship, the romantic relationship. And so what was coming through as you were talking about it is the energy of, is this it? Am I going to have to go through this alone? Because I don't understand how this is all going to come together. Because the way that I am working right now is more about, it's more kind of one-on-one. It's supporting my sisters. So how am I going to find that relationship? And am I being selfish asking for it? I've asked for so much and I've received so much. So if I, I don't feel worthy of asking for or feeling that you want someone, or the lack, or that it's unfair that you don't have that aspect of your life rounded out. So that's a little bit of the internal dialogue that they're showing that's going on with yourself, is this, this sweet aspect of you is saying, I would love to share my life, my experiences with others. And then there's this really harsh voice that's very critical. It feels kind of maternal, to be honest, saying, you have enough. How dare you ask for more? That's not your, why can't you just be happy with what you have? So that seems to be a little bit of what's going on really, really deep behind the scenes, because I do feel that there is that calm, there is that flow. You are attracting what you want in your life. But when it comes to, it's easy to attract, or it's not easy. For you, it's more natural to attract clients or people that you can be in service for, because it feels more altruistic. When it's time to actually attract and desire and want something that's purely for you, that voice comes back in.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So that's a little opportunity for you to kind of step up and be like, that's so old school. I deserve it. We can have as much for ourselves as for others. If I have a relationship that I can nurture in this very, romantic way, that opens me up to be able to serve more people. So have that discussion with yourself and really kind of go into those, check in those little crannies where that voice is hiding, and try to figure out also like where else that might be playing out.
Well, here's what pops in. I feel that I am, able to attract all the genders, but it seems more of what am I attracted to. Like I'm having a struggle with feeling like there would be somebody that really I click with, and that is a ease and flow kind of a relationship. And I just feel so different. I feel different in that I've grown, and I feel different from a lot of the human race.
And I think one thing that they're bringing up, and this is so good for our entire group, right? Because as we kind of have different perspectives and we grow, we have to remember that that second chakra energy pops up. It's all about the yin to the yang. You might not actually need a romantic partner who is as quote unquote woke as you, to use millennial speak.
Right.
It's more about someone who supplements you. So maybe for you, what is going to be more beneficial is just having this romantic relationship that's really grounding, so that you can float off and like philosophize about all these different things. Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's a romantic relationship that picks up and goes and has planned something, and then you guys go to this random spot and, you get all these insights. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship that quote unquote matches yours, because we all do feel really different. Our truths are different. Our experiences are different. The ways we connect with the energy is different. It's just really about allowing the universe to bring the person who's going to complement you the best and help you be the best version of you without being attached to what that looks like. But for you, kind of go back to that kernel of, are you asking for too much now? Are you abusing? Are you taking advantage? Because that's the energy that you really want to sort through. let go of, they have to be like this or they have to look like this. Just let the universe bring it forth. But the first step is you acknowledging your deservability of asking for that.
Okay. That's really cool because even in asking for help, I have trouble with that.
Exactly.
I feel like I have to do it all on my own, very independent that way.
And you're such a giving person to others. So if it's asking for help to get your name out there to help others, that's a very different ask than I want this for myself.
Oh, my goodness, Denise.
Yeah, play with that nuance. That's a really big one for a lot of us too, by the way.
Awesome. Oh, I love you so much, Denise. Thank you.
Oh, we love you too. Sending you so much love. And I'm going to put you back on mute and stay nice and warm up there in Wisconsin.
Okay, thanks.
All right. So nice hearing from you. All right. Let's see. We have another hand up, and it looks like it is in Dayton, Ohio. So let me see just 1 second. Dayton, Ohio, phone ending in 571. I'm taking you off mute. Are you there?
I'm here.
Hi, who do I have?
Hi, my name is Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi. I was just trying to think of what my pot of gold is.
I love it.
And it's so funny that you talked about the pot of gold because I was in this wealth consciousness year-long training a couple years ago. And I was just looking through the notes from around this time 2 years ago, and it was all about your pot of gold.
Wow.
And so it's just kind of fun that you're bringing that up.
Yay. And so at that time, what did you think your pot of gold was, if you're comfortable sharing?
Well, I guess what she was saying is you need to give yourself permission to ask for more.
Oh, wow.
More, a bigger pot of gold, because similar to what the other lady was just saying, I could ask for help. Like at that time I was a nurse, and I could ask for help in emergencies, but just to ask because I wanted it, I didn't feel like I should do that,
Wow, that's I just love how your messages and Kelly's messages have just kind of tied together. So thank you, because I think we all needed to hear that poised in that perspective of asking for a bigger pot of gold and giving yourself permission. That's so beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. So that's what I have been trying. Well, I'm realizing that I still, I'm a Reiki practitioner and intuitive coach, and I have some clients, and yet there's still this part of me that feels guilty charging money because it's such I know it's so natural to me that sometimes it's hard for me to realize the value of it for people that aren't me,
I love that you say that. First of all, you're our pot of gold today. Like what you just brought through was really, really powerful. And this is such an exemplification of what you're talking about. Your words, you're like, oh, I just told the story of what I did 2 years ago. But for many of us, the way you phrased it and your energy around it kind of provides a new perspective on things. So thank you for that. This notion, so it's interesting because as you were speaking, squirrel came through, and that notion of squirreling away little nuts along the way. Two things are going on with that analogy of the squirrel and squirrel coming through for you. One is that reminder that you've hidden little squirrels, little bits of knowledge and insights along the way for you to uncover on this path. So if you don't dig for yourself and uncover that knowledge, you don't complete your path. You don't do your job. It's what you're here to do. So, as you think about giving yourself permission, what if it's not giving yourself permission? What if it's allowing yourself to do the job that your higher self set out for you to do here? So that's one way to position it. And the other way also is one thing that trips up in the energy that they're showing is the notion of asking for a bigger pot of gold there's a flip side to it too. What if asking for a bigger pot of gold doesn't seem to resonate to some, because really what you want is sustained abundance, right? So it's just having that security and knowledge that I will be taken care of. I have this sustained abundance, and I have enough that I can kind of squirrel away those little nuts and keep them for when I need them and have to return to them. So it's this really interesting thing they're bringing up about part of us feeling that we can't charge other people for spiritual things is, what if I'm taking their entire pot of gold? I don't want to do that to someone. But keep in mind that everybody has little kernels and they know how to disperse it. And so if they choose to share their kernel with you in exchange for your work, that's a beautiful thing. You know, you're never taking someone's everything. That's the one thing they want you to hear. There's this big fear of taking someone's everything. And it's not. They're sharing the kernels that they've set aside, that the universe has had them set aside, that their higher selves have had them set aside, so that they can get the benefit of growth, relief, you know, replenishing, and just, you know, this is their medicine.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love what you just said.
Yeah, such a lovely perspective, too.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like that, you know, like I think about myself and how I've spent money for, you know, that program that was so helpful to me, and I had those little kernels to share that money. It wasn't all my money, but it was so valuable to me.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know that you do bring a lot of value. Part of it is, you know, not valuing, you know, self-worth and that kind of thing, because often, and this has to do with some first chakra energy, which is interesting because we're clearing it. It's like, if I didn't have to work hard for it, it's not of value, right? And this is something that I talk about stemming back to ancestral lineage as far as limiting beliefs. You know, think of our grandparents. They were all, or my grandparents, maybe great-grandparents to some of us on the call, but, you know, people who've been through that Great Depression, they're like, it's all about hard work. If you don't work hard, you don't deserve that paycheck. And so there's a little bit of that. Because Reiki comes so easy to you, you don't think it's valuable because you didn't have to fight for it or, you know, invest in it or whatever. But remember, that's limiting beliefs, that's lineage stuff. That all is being cleared away. And part of you working through that on your own, in your own kind of microcosm, helps clear away that energy for kind of the collective. So you're right on target with that, because I think a lot of us in our generation are moving through that and kind of dispersing that energy.
That's so perfect, because I did work really hard as a nurse for a long time. So and there is that whole story in my family. It has to hurt. So you know, you have to suffer to get a paycheck. You know.
Yeah.
So so that's really good.
We're changing that.
Good.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, Miss Lisa. Thank you for sharing. So much love to you, and we love the pot of gold that you brought for all of us, and this is so important, especially now it's timely, you know, because a lot of us are small businesses, a lot of us do healing. It's very much in demand, and we have to find that balance where, even though we know people are scared, or, you know, they might feel they don't have the resources and things are a bit uncertain, we still need to keep some sort of normalcy so that we can continue to do the work, you know, so we still may have to charge. So this is a really great discussion to be having, especially with what's going on right now globally.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Love having you.
I didn't expect to be called. So
yeah, no, it happens just as you had to follow Kelly. That's just the way it is. You had to add on to her message. So, oh my gosh, so much love to you, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you for being part of the call.
Love back to you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to put you back on mute. And let's see, we've got Miss Belinda in San Mateo, who is not in San Mateo. One moment, let me take you off mute. Hello, Miss Belinda, how are you?
Hi. That's so funny. I'm still in Miami. And you know what? That's my pot of gold. I've just got to say, because Miami isn't always my favorite, hasn't always been my favorite city, but that I can go outside and commune with the nature and the beach and the birds and the bees and the crocodiles. I feel very blessed. So thank you for asking that question.
I love that. And, you know, one way that you can share that is through pictures. Like, that's the beauty of social media. You know, so share, post a few on Facebook in our private group, or just generally letting us know what you're seeing these days. Because, you know, for the Northeasterners, I think back to New York, and when we were holed up in our apartment with Hurricane Sandy with no power for 10 days, our view out of, you know, our tiny little window was a brick wall. It was like, well, this is no fun. So post those beautiful open skies and share it with us. I love it.
Thank you. And I do. I take so many pictures. Well, they closed my favorite garden, but the beaches are still open. So there we go. But I don't know that my garden's going to stay closed that long. So it is such a gift. It is such a gift. And I just want to add, the questions have been amazing. So I want to thank everybody for the questions, because they've been so helpful. I guess because everybody is getting lots of personal information. And I had some dog questions. But now I'm just inspired to ask one of these kind of the questions in the same vein that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
And as we are shifting into this kind of new paradigm, and we're all moving into our mastery, and again, we're charging for our services, and it can still be uncomfortable. And I guess, and I think I've already shared this with you a little bit, I mean, the future that I see is we're all just sharing our gifts and talents, and there's no money. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it is kind of a middle time where we're still kind of living between worlds in a sense, even though I believe the third and the fourth dimension have already burned away. But so any personal guidance on that, but more so for all of us, because most of us aren't motivated by money, but we are, because we need money to pay for our bills and pay for the things that we need, and to live vibrantly, and to pay for the treatments that we want. I mean, I think that's mostly what I like, is having healing sessions for myself. So if that's a good enough question, I'll leave you there. But if you need it more specific.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, you know, as you say, I think our generation in particular, we've benefited from people doing the hard work, right? We've benefited from the Louise Hayes, from, you know, a lot of people coming out and talking about spirituality. And in our kind of lifetime, spirituality now and the access to it has been so powerful via the internet. Like nowadays you can Google anything and learn about any modality, learn about any theory out there. And so with the internet, it's interesting because what's kind of coming through, and I didn't think I was going this direction, it's a little bit of like a double-edged sword, because although it can house a lot of very scary things, it also is a lot of free-flowing information. And so what they're saying, which is super interesting, is that in the 5D, there is light and shadow aspects to everything, because that's the yin to the yang. It's really about your perspective and how you perceive light and shadow. There's no judgment in the 5D, so it's not called light or shadow. It's just experiences. They're not good or bad. So part of us burning that bridge from like the 3D stuff, where it's like if you're spiritual and you're charging, you're a bad person, part of it is us releasing all perception of money. So it's not that there is no money and that it's free flow. It's just everything's free flowing. So there's no judgment around, oh, so-and-so asked for this much money, or so-and-so couldn't give this much money. So it's not that, you know, we're going to disappear and live an ethereal bodies, because that is a lot higher up there in the dimensions, or it's a lot more in the distance. We still have some of this in between to go. So
right.
The internet is a little bit of a preview of what that is. There's all sorts of things, and you can choose how to experience any given set of information. So ask the question again, because now I'm on a tangent. I feel like I need to ground back into your question. Oh, so weird. Belinda dropped off. Okay. So let me feel into where they want us to go for the group. Oh, there you are. Hold on one second.
Hi.
Okay, you're
Hi.
back. Okay, so ask your question again to kind of get us back into the energy of it.
No, and that was really good. I heard the entire message, and that was helpful.
Okay.
I guess is navigating it, because right now I feel so overwhelmed by how many people have their spiritual business, how much is out there, and it doesn't always, and I'm not in a, again, a place of judgment.
Yeah.
But it feels like it could be a little too much at times.
Yeah.
And finding new, more creative, more organic ways to do it. That's, I guess, my real point.
Yes, that's beautiful. And that is, again, we're getting into those fifth chakra energies of tapping into your truth, your voice, your authentic offering. So as we're bridging the 3D and the 5D, we also heavily in the 3D relied on modalities. You have to follow these rules. You have to take these steps. In Reiki, you have to open like this, then do this, then close like this. Now, especially in the past 10 years or so, it's been very much like we've collected all this knowledge, but now all of us as unique tools kind of assimilate the modalities, and we kind of, like in cartoons when they throw in a bunch of things into that, thing that mixes things and then something really unique pops out. That's what we're in the process of doing. So part of your hesitance to kind of move forward and start something is you haven't fully aligned on how to communicate your authentic offering and message and what you do. So part of you with that projector energy knows that so well that it's like, nope, we're not going all in until we've done the exploration, we've identified it. So that's part of what you're feeling. It's less about charging or doing this. It's just it's not authentic, so it's not right to move forward just yet. So I know you and I have had conversations separately about, let's dig in and figure out what your offering is and your unique perspective on healing and how you can bring, your unique flavor into the universe. And once you align on that, there's going to be so much joy and excitement that emanates that it will melt away. That feeling of, but I don't know if I should, you will be singing it from the mountaintops. You won't be able to not tell people about it. So it's just, there's a little bit of this, we haven't quite landed on what it is, so I'm not super excited by it yet.
Okay. Yeah, and the word is trepidation, yes, and it totally feels like trepidation. Yeah, and it's funny when people ask me what I do, I'm like, I do a lot of things, and that's my answer, and it's so unconscious, and I say it all the time. And then if people start asking me, then I start telling them a lot of things that I do.
Yeah.
So it is kind of funny, but thank you for that clarity. And I think what I'm going to try to do is just get more present and try to meditate and channel some information.
Yeah. And it's almost what they're showing me is a little bit of the opposite, is like set the intention, because this gets back a little bit to what we were talking about with Lisa with no pain, no gain. They're showing me a little bit of why not just set the intention that you get some inspiration and then go for that walk on the beach. It always happens. It seems to happen in the shower, like when you're doing something like washing your hair, you get those aha moments, or doing the dishes. So do things that you love to do, and it's going to come in. And if we do move forward with kind of the one-on-one coaching, those are going to be containers where I can feel into the energy and help pull things out. So when So it's really about giving yourself a break, because if we're sitting there watching the water boil, it's not going to boil either. So it's finding that kind of middle term. But the trepidation is merited in your case, as I feel into the energy, because you haven't quite found what you want to shout from the mountaintop yet. So don't feel it's just trepidation because you're quote unquote scared of stepping out, or you were silenced in past lives, or it's none of that. It's just you haven't nailed it yet. But you will.
Yeah.
So, and then it's going to be a whole different kind of vibe and energy.
Yeah. And thank you for that clarity. Yeah. It doesn't feel like I feel ready. That's not, It doesn't feel that. I just don't have the clarity that I personally need to move forward, because I can do a lot of things right now, and I do.
Exactly.
But yes, but thank you. That was so perfect and beautiful. I do have one super short question for the dog.
Sure. Good. Yeah.
And it's kind of related to the energy that we're in right now. And I'm with Rookie and Rita, and they're my sister's dogs, and I've been taking care of them. And Rookie is the one who kind of is afraid of the sounds and the noises. And what you shared before was that Rookie had either with his last family, they dropped something or made noise, and he's kind of just healing. I don't know if it was his doggy mother or the people mother. I don't really remember. And I've helped him clear, like it was maybe some ancestral stuff. And I've helped him clear that, and I feel like he's better, subtle. And so I'm just wondering if Rookie has any information, if he's holding on to it, or if he has anything to say about it.
The last aspect of it that he wants to hold on is he sees a little bit of severity in your sister. So in her energy, like things can shift very quickly, like tempers, fuses are short, that kind of thing. So it's about also helping your sister work through that. So, there's certain things that only sisters can tell each other. Anyone else would get, a butt kicking. But so it's whether you talk to her higher self or you feel it and you know it and you can talk to her about it in this time. Like there's some sort of shift that needs to happen there with her as well. That would be really beneficial to both the dogs, but also your sister. There's this little bit of So, again, our conversations and our work can be done at the higher self level and the energetic level, or actually my sister and I, we hold no bars. We just go in and we speak it like it is. But however you feel guided to assist, that's what they're drawing attention to.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And thank you for letting me ask that. And it rings very true in my heart. And I haven't been able to go there, so I get it. Beautiful. Yeah, but I didn't know that he was holding on to it too, but I hold it also. So there you go.
I love it. He wasn't going to let us off the hook, right? He's like, well, you've helped me, but I'm still going to do this. And that's such a perfect example of how our animal companions won't shift completely through a behavior if there's leftover energy that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, wow, that's brilliant. Well, I'm super excited for everything, and thank you so much. This has been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful call. Thank you, everybody.
Beautiful. So much love to you. Thank you for joining, and enjoy sunny Miami. I'm going to put you back on mute. One second. Oop, the system froze a little bit here. Okay, perfect. So I see hands up, and we also have Q&A, so if everybody's okay, we are going to be going late. I want to try to get to as many people as we can today, just given the circumstances. So, Emily, I see that you wrote something in, and I'm so happy. Roberta as well, I see that you wrote something in. If you guys would prefer to interact over the phone, *2 will raise your hand. If not, I'll get to the Q&A as well. Let's see. So I see, Roberta, you have a hand up. I'm assuming this is you. One second. Let me take you off mute. Just one moment. Where are you? There you are. Hello, Roberta. Are you there?
Can you hear me?
I sure can. How are you?
I'm good. I just jumped on at the very end. I was hoping that I would catch you all. I wanted to hear more of it, but it's a little bit crazy working in a medical clinic when we've the case of Ontario is shut down now for state of emergency.
Wow.
So
is that right? Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for being, on the front lines. And, one thing that we have seen on social media, which has been beautiful, is as the health workers go to work, the people in quarantine are clapping for them and celebrating them. So just know that we celebrate you and all you do, not only in these moments of crisis, but also caring for people throughout the year. So thank you. And oh my gosh, I can only imagine how intense it's been for you.
Yeah, it's a really interesting energy. I think just on the subject of it, the virus is here, unfortunately, and there's nothing that we're going to do to prevent it. The whole idea, though, is to flatten the curve so that healthcare, it doesn't happen like it's happened in Italy where everybody is overwhelmed. And it'll give us time to be able to test a vaccine and get a vaccine in order to prevent it. It's a novel virus, so not anybody has ever seen it before, and that's part of the problem of why it's so virulent and such. However, people need to keep a little bit sane, and sane would be not having a puppy during this time, but I do, and he's crazy, but funny crazy.
Oh my goodness, they do keep some levity and distraction in our lives, don't they?
They sure do.
Oh my goodness. So how can we help you, whether it's with Max or what's kind of up for you? How can we help?
Well, I can't remember exactly what I wrote you, but it was something along the lines of Max's favorite thing. Well, not favorite, but the thief. So he likes shoes and bras and socks and boots. Those are his, that's his thievery thing. And it seems to be like it's a funny thing. And he's very funny. He's a very funny dog. Like, he's a very happy, funny dog. But then he starts getting puppy zoomies. And when he gets puppy zoomies and he's stealing these things, that's when Bliss is like, okay, that's it. I've had enough.
Yes. The puppy zoomies. Okay, so here's a really interesting thing about the puppy zoomies that might, definitely listen to the beginning of this call because we talk about like changing perspectives and pots of gold at the end of the rainbow and what our pot of gold is, what our ahas are at, this time where there's so much kind of craziness.
Yeah.
But one thing that I will say about the puppy zoomies is I've had such an increase of pet parents being like, oh my goodness, my dog is puppy zooming like you would not believe. It's escalating. How do I solve this? And yes, there is a portion where, they have extra energy as they stay indoors more. Maybe they're not getting as much mental exercise. So we want to ensure that we're kind of helping provide some mental exercise through commands and games. And, we're playing fetch even if indoors to get them to, run out some energy. Puppy push-ups, the sit down, sit down, sit down. Like, those are all going to be great. But the puppy zoomies actually are their way of clearing the energy in the house. So look at that puppy zoomies and say, thank you. I see that you're clearing. Let me help clear as well. Take some deep breaths. Exhale. Picture, whatever the way that you like to clear energy in your space, whether it's, seeing a gold bubble of light in your apartment or, the walls being painted in gold or opening windows or clapping. It's all about clearing the energy, especially right now because the energy feels really heavy and dense in the collective. So they're lightening things up. Another thing you can do is as they're doing their puppy zoomies, send down into that vortex that they're creating any lower vibrational thoughts, energies, fears, doubts, anything that no longer serves. So let's acknowledge the puppy zoomies for being what they are.
Okay.
With the shoes, bras, socks, all that good stuff, such a puppy behavior, in the traditional sense, they know that's going to get your attention, right? The second they go for your bra, your underwear, your socks, your favorite boots that you're like, oh, please don't get tooth marks in them. They know you're going to come right after them, so it becomes a little bit of a game. So what I like to do is a little bit of desensitization. So with Max on leash, and this is going to be great mental stimulation, which will tire him out as well, have those items laid out in the living room or, in the hallway, and have him at a safe distance look at the items, get a sit or a look or a touch, and give him a treat. Get him to look again at the item. Where's the boot? Yep. Sit, look, yes. And then get a little closer, a little bit at a time, until he gets to the point where he can get near to the boot, but he'd rather sit and look at you for a treat. This is a little bit of kind of counter conditioning and desensitizing, because right now it's forbidden fruit, right? It's every time he gets it, he can't have it. So if we do work where we normalize it, we have it at his level, but he's on leash, so he can't, run off just yet. That's going to help make it more commonplace. And then you can get to the point where he's off leash and you're doing touches with him by the, like what the activity for the first chakra is, the sit, look, touch, 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 sit, look. Do that with those items being left near him. So now we're getting closer and closer doing the where's your buddy game with those items so that he's desensitized to them.
Okay.
So that's really great also for impulse control. This is kind of the prelude to the leave it and drop it command.
The dog has ADHD, so I don't know how well that's going to go, but...
The dog is what? Sorry?
The dog has ADHD, so...
Oh, yeah, but that's where the treats help. And remember, just make it fun. Keep it moving. And if it needs to be short, right? Dogs do best when it's really short training sessions more frequently throughout the day. Okay. So even if you do that for, a commercial break on your favorite TV show, that's plenty. Just do it a few times throughout the day. It's more about shorter, more frequent.
Okay. I actually have another question about the command down. So he, no problem with food. Like if I hand signal, like we're doing hand signal sit, if I say sit, and then I point my hand down to go down, he pops down, no problem. But he won't pop down at the word down, but he'll pop down at the word sit. How do you make that transition?
So this happens a lot with dogs. Basically, they try to jump, jump the shark, or, cut to the chase is what I'm trying to say. They try to cut to the chase. So they know that usually our order is, okay, sit, down, yes, here's your treat. So what you want to do, especially between the sit and the down, is with treats or toys or whatever it is, mark and reward just the sit and then just the down. So keep mixing it up. All too often we get past the sit and then we just focus on the down, then we focus on other things. So their natural inclination is to go straight to the down.
Well, he'll go sit and he'll go down. And I have been treating in between. It's sit, treat, down, treat. But I can say sit and he will sit in a room, but I can't say down. And
like if he's standing to I mean, I think that's hard from a mechanic standpoint for dogs. Typically we get a silent sit and then a down.
A silent sit and then a down. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just use the gesture and then say down. Because if they're standing, it's kind of hard for them to plop down. Especially bigger dogs. They need that kind of interim.
Yeah, he's grown a lot. I think he's going to be I feel like I've got a micro pig that I bought a micro pig that ends up being a 500-pound pig. I kind of think that's what's happening.
He's definitely, he's spunky, this one. When we were talking about this, he's like, you tried doing a burpee without doing a push-up first. So he's got spunk, this little one, but this is really, again, with that fifth chakra and stepping into your authority, it's really going to be about stepping into your leadership. And it's not going to be physical dominance like it's worked with other dogs because they're so much smaller. Like this guy will give you a run for your money physically if you try to leverage it that way. Not that you would, but this is just an extra measure to make sure that you're using your energy and you're being very clear and directive.
Yeah.
And so that's really part of what Max is bringing in for the picture for you.
And poor Bliss. What's he bringing in for poor Bliss? Oh, poor dog.
Patience and tolerance, but she likes him.
I know she does.
She does. Yeah. She might not Okay, so here's what's coming up. She might not always like him, but she loves him.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just, you know, a little bit of tolerance and patience and you being able to step in and when it is inappropriate for you to kind of set that boundary and be like, Max, let's make a better decision. Come on, touch. Thank you.
Okay. And so you really use touch that much?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Touch is because when we say no, stop it, come on, man, you know, those things don't give our dogs direction. It doesn't teach them to make a better choice. Okay. Whereas giving them feedback of, here, come here, okay, now let's take a break and think about it, that works better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically after, like, really do the touch, and it's touching my hand, right?
Uh-huh. He actually has to come to you and touch your nose, or touch his nose to your hand.
Touch his nose to my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Really work touch. Okay.
Yeah, really great questions. I'm glad that we're grounding it back to the animals and practical things, because as much as our energy and the energetics are important, we also need to bring in that foundational training stuff. So I love it.
Yeah, we certainly do. Well, he's very funny, though, but it's really funny.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I'm sending you so much love, and thank you again for all you're doing to keep us all, you know, healthy and well. And we're just sending you so much love.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. I'm going to put you on mute. And I see, oh, good, Emily, your hand's up, but I'm just going to go to someone first here who's kind of, energy's kind of beaconing in, and this is Phoenix, Arizona. 1 second. Where did you go? All right, phone number ending in 430. Who do we have?
This is Mary. Denise.
Hi, Mary. How are you? It's so funny because there's a man's name, so I'm always like, I think it's
It
Mary,
should be
but...
MC.
Oh, no,
is it
there's
just
a man's
MC?
name. Uh-uh.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I've gone in and had that changed, so I'm going to check that out. But anyway, oh, wow, this has been the most amazing call. And I don't want to repeat all the stuff that everybody else said that, you know, has been wonderful about it. But my big pot of gold is the love of my dogs and being in nature. And right now, they've been all listening to you because I had you on speakerphone until we came on the call. And actually, all the stuff you've said about the throat chakra and everything's been so great because I listened to your 333 portal call with Anna Maria.
Yeah.
And my question is, because I know you've got a lot of people waiting, we've talked before about my golden retriever, Jada, that has the fears of being in the motorhome and the noise. And I've done what we suggested. I did get the seat out, and I'm making a little area for them to ride in so that they will be closer to me. I also, a friend recommended a thunder jacket, and I had tried one years ago, and it didn't seem that effective, but I tried it again. So we've been gradually working up to more time, and she just popped the front of the neck off right now. But what I want to know is if I'm seeing that she appears to be very comfortable with it. I just would love to know if you can pick up anything that it's working for her, that she is okay with it, because we've done so much with communicating with the throat chakra and just spending more time, spending time with her to really feel secure when she needs it. And every night when we go to bed, because my 1-year-old seems to try to get in between, so I've been directing her not to and giving Jada the time. So I just would love to know if you can feel anything about the results of the thunder jacket, if that will help her calming when we're in the motorhome.
And so that does feel like it's a good tool to add into the tool belt. You know, it does feel just grounding, because really what she needs is a lot of the grounding, right?
Yeah.
And that thunder shirt helps her feel grounded in the energy. What they're showing that could be an interesting complement to the thunder shirt, and we might have a little more time than usual these days, is sewing on some pockets onto the back of the thunder shirt, kind of up the spine, where you put in whether it's crystals or rocks that you feel drawn to. Kind of just follow up that path, because that will just help bring the vibration of grounding and nature. And typically I would say crystals, but they're showing me regular rocks that you feel tied to as well, like river rocks or like, I don't know, it just feels like you'll know. But
okay.
this is something that can just kind of help bring that extra layer of grounding. And then I don't know if this is okay for animals, so I'm going to ask you to check it. But what they're showing is a little very, very diluted, because our dog's sense of smell is a lot stronger than ours, and essential oils can be really overbearing for dogs. But very diluted, or finding a leaf and rubbing it on the actual thundershirt as well, eucalyptus is coming through.
Really? Because
Yeah.
she loves Copieva, and both of them will lick it every night. And I know it's very good for anxiety, and they just lick it off my hand every night.
Oh, good. Okay, so feel into
eucalyptus.
what maybe
I can try the eucalyptus.
I could be misinterpreting. The eucalyptus is some sort of leaf is what they're bringing through. I have very limited knowledge of oils and leaves. I'm kind of a city girl, so when I think of a leaf from like nature, it's eucalyptus is my reference point. So feel into it if you do any pendulum work, or feel into your body what makes sense. But some sort of essence of leaf feels like it would be a nice addition to that thunder shirt as well.
Okay, great, because they do even put a patch on for essential oils, and I'm very versed. I have a lot of books and stuff on that, and they are fine if you use a quality oil. They are fine with the animals. It's when they're using that stuff that's more synthetic than it is actually pure oils.
Oh, good.
So I love
so you
that.
have experience in that. Great.
Oh yeah, I work with them all the time, and I sew all the time, so I can put pouches on the back of her thing, and definitely put crystals in. I love that. I never thought of that, because I know I've used the crystals before around them and in the vehicle, but on the right up the spine, huh?
Right up the
spine. Actually, maybe near some of the chakra points, like this isn't going to go down to the root, but we can start at the navel, maybe in the solar plexus. Okay.
Yeah. And so, you'll feel into it. And one thing that they do recommend is putting the crystals in, then putting the thunder shirt down on the floor and allowing her to approach it at her time, because crystals can be pretty powerful for the animal. So let her kind of acclimate to the vibrations. It might take a few days before she's like fully comfortable wearing it. So just give her the choice. Let her know she always has a choice in the matter, and she can approach it on her own time.
Great. Well, she's pretty familiar with the crystals because they're all over my place. So
good. But when they're on her body, it might be a little more intense. So that's why we just want to give the choice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That sounds great. Because I work with them with the energy work too. So, and so they're familiar with it, and they actually tell me. The other day I got loud and clear from both of them. They wanted a chakra balance, and I use tuning forks with them, and they just jump right up there, and they're totally. And what's interesting with all this work with the throat chakra and the fifth there, all their throats, all their fifth chakras are out. They were blocked, and I'm like, wow. So this is telling me totally more work with that, and we did a chakra balance on all of them, and they felt so much better, and I just noticed a difference.
Wow, that's tremendous. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you for sharing.
Well, and I love the information you had in that portal. So if people haven't listened to it, it's great.
Thank you for joining and being part of it. And do snap a picture of what you end up creating with this beautiful energetic thunder vest. And post it and share it with the group. I'd love to see what you come up with.
Okay, I will. I'll have to get some fun colors for it in something. It is a sweatshirt type, a t-shirt type fabric. So I'll just have to, find in maybe some of my scraps or something I can be creative.
I love it. All this upcycling that we're doing, taking advantage of things around the house, finding new uses, whereas ordinarily it might go to the trash. So Mother Earth says thank you. This is great.
Yeah, well, I thank them dearly every day when I'm in nature. It's been so calming and so beautiful.
Oh, how lovely.
And in the desert, here in the desert, we've had so much rain, so it's so green. It's not normal.
Wow, it's lush. So the super bloom is going to be amazing this year.
Yeah, we have grass growing all over in the desert, and I took some pictures, and I'm like, last year it was kind of like this too, but normally it's just the rocks and gravel, and it's so beautiful. It just just seeing the color because I'm used to more greenery. So anyway, thank you so much again. I love you guys. You do great. Everybody's. I loved every single question. They were all so pertinent.
Well, thank you
wonderful.
for sharing yours as well and your perspective. And happy St. Patty's Day. I'm going to put you back on mute. Just one second. All right, so let's go to actually Olympia, Washington. I know your hand's been up for a really long time here, so let me take you off of mute 1 second. And are you there?
Hello, yes, I'm here, Denise. Thank you. It's Christina.
Hi, Christina. So good to have you. I thought it might be you.
I've loved the call, and for me, the pot of gold is slowing down, playing more, really finding our true home. I have to say I was remembering years ago telling actually Mary's kids when they were bored that we are our own recreational vehicle, and I've been kind of trying to apply that more and taking time to communicate with my pets more. So it's a very special time. I do believe we're truly creating a new paradise on Earth, and it'll take a little while, but we'll get there. Anyway, you have talked to me, of course, before about my puppy Spirit, who's now 4 months old, and he's a golden retriever. And the other dog I have, Zeus, is the one I have a question on. He's 9 years old, and he's been fixed. And years ago, he was aggressive, about 3 years ago, with his father, who's passed on. But when you just said today, there's leftover energy that needs to be addressed, boy, I'm wondering what that is, because about 2 weeks ago, he became aggressive. I had something to eat, and I let him lick my bowl, and the puppy was, which of course he's not a puppy anymore, but the younger one was licking it, and then Zeus came to lick it, and he snapped at him. He pinned him to the ground, and he was getting aggressive again like he was years ago. And now I'm noticing if he's on the bed, if Zeus is on the bed, and if the Spirit comes up, he'll have this low growl. And then one day I noticed outside he was laying down. The two dogs are outside. Zeus was laying down and getting in that focused, intense, like he's going to prey, bounce on the prey. So my question is, what can I do to help him? I've been giving him more jobs. He's the tour guide going around on the land. I'm talking to him more, giving him one-on-one time, which I know he's loving. But my concern, and of course my fear, which I have to find myself grounding more, is that this doesn't, increase. And I'm watching where the two boys are all the time, So if I can have any insight on that, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you. That's such a good question. So 2 things that we can do. One is it makes total sense that Zeus is picking up on the energy of the collective of fear, and there's not enough to go around. So I need to fight for those resources. So again, it's bringing us back to that first chakra, that, it's either mine or yours. It's a sum zero game. I need to hoard, and I'm going to, offense is the best defense because I'm scared, and I want to scare you off from my stuff. So, we can obviously see a lot of that potential playing out in the collective and the fear around there not being enough. So, part of that also is letting him know there's enough to go around, little one. There's enough to go around. We all can win. We all can partake. Everything is infinite and abundant. It's interesting because this energetic pattern also pertains to the discussion we were having earlier about charging for services, right? Who am I to take from someone? So it's everything we've talked about is kind of tied in, and it's swirling around and manifesting in different ways in the collective. Whether it's I'm scared, I'm going to go hoard toilet paper, or, I'm trying to be considerate of people who might be, not have the finances they did. Maybe I shouldn't charge. So it's all kind of like different ways that it's showing up, and Zeus is processing this energy. So letting him know that, first of all, clearing him also is going to be really good. So it's just kind of brushing it off of him. when you guys go out in nature, you can even get they're showing me like a little branch of a tree or a little shrub, or have him just kind of swish by the nature. That's going to help ground him back into the abundance of Mother Earth, into the regenerative power of Mother Earth. So it's great that you're going on these walks. Just whether you're actually doing it or energetically wiping him, just wipe him. He just needs some help cleansing from like head all the way to his tail. And then from a traditional standpoint, we do want to be cautious because you're picking up on all the signals, which is great, and Zeus is giving us all the signals. So he's showing us that hard stare. He's showing us the growling. Thank you, Zeus. I understand you're uncomfortable. I'll take it from here. The worst thing we can do is discourage dogs to do that, and then it's kind of 0 to 60. They go into the fight mode. So we want to acknowledge that he's doing right by us, and he's giving us and the other animal companions a sign that he's very uncomfortable. So what I would recommend doing are collaborative games where I always like to have a safe barrier. So if you have a doggy gate or, you know, something that you can separate Zeus from Spirit and have them both do a sit. And then with one treat, say this is for Spirit and this is for Zeus. And then have them do another sit. This is for Zeus, this is for Spirit, so that he starts understanding that you will be doling out the resources. He doesn't have to fight for them. He'll get them if he just sits quietly. The reason I say have a doggy gate in between is it can escalate quickly, and I'm always about safety first. So the more that you can kind of work on commands with him, help him understand that, you know, when the dogs are together, things win. And if food becomes an issue, start, you know, just making sure that you're, you know, if he's having trouble being on the bed, ask him to go off the bed, right? Just like children, it's a privilege that they earn. And so if they're abusing that privilege or freedom, we give them a little bit more restriction until they can make better choices. So we also have to teach him to make better choices. And that's not punitive or we're not being condescending. It's just if he's at the point where he's reacting, that's a lot of stress on his little shoulders. So let's kind of take away his freedoms so that he doesn't have to feel that stress. So if he's used to being in a crate, maybe the crate goes in the bedroom and Spirit's on your bed. And Zeus is tucked away in the crate with a bully stick or something delicious. Right now, I would be cautious of anything too high value out in the open between the dogs because we don't want to set them up for a situation where there are some tiffs. So start as much as you can just practicing commands with Zeus, and then with a healthy barrier where they can still see each other, start directing them and rewarding each in different orders so it becomes more commonplace that there's food and you're doling out and deciding who gets what.
Wonderful. Okay, I will definitely do that, and thank you so much for your help. I so appreciate it. And it's so just lovely. Teaching me again how our animals are here to help us heal. And, you know, the different energy. There was a time I'm pretty good about not getting into fear, but when I went to order dog food online and they were out of, you know, what I normally get them, I had that fear, and he's probably picking up a little bit on that too, which I contributed. So I'm really trying to catch all of this so he can relax and so we can all, you know, be in peace and not in fear.
Beautiful. Oh, well, thank you for bringing that up. And, you know, that first chakra is big for us right now. You know, that's the fear, survival, you know, all that stuff is kind of rooted. So thank you. And keep us posted on how it's going.
Oh, thank you so much. We love you so much, and thank you for all you're doing for humanity and the animals.
Right back at you. So much love to you and your little pack, and we'll talk soon.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to put you back on mute. And I see Miss Emily with her hand up in good old New York City, my old stomping ground. Hey, Emily, how are you? You're off mute.
Hey there, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing great. How's everything in New York City? I know it's a little different of a dynamic.
Yeah, it's a bit strange, I have to say. and just like California will, well, it was just announced that we'll probably have to do shelter and home in the next 48 hours. So, I mean, mostly it's fine, but you just get scared,
Yeah. Wait. So you're gonna have to take it's Spicer, right?
Yeah, Spicer.
Spicer. So you guys are gonna head to a shelter?
No. Just like California did, it was just announced that all of us New Yorkers will have to shelter in home probably in the next 48 hours or so.
Yes.
Most people are prepared. It's going to be okay, but.
Oh, good. Sorry, it was a little fuzzy, so I was like, okay, well, let's talk about that. But yes, okay, so you'll be in your familiar surroundings, in your home. It's just a little surreal that we're in that place. Yeah.
And mostly, I sent the question earlier. I don't know if you still have that one, because that's really what I'm noticing in the last, even 4 or 5 days ago. Spicer's, he's very empathetic and very sensitive, and I feel like I'm, mostly I'm more anxious than I want to admit, of course, but I'm doing pretty good. But he's not anxious, but when we're outside, he doesn't want to be outside, and he'll stop and he'll just look, and he just really does not want to be outside. And I feel like he's feeling a lot of the collective stress.
Absolutely. So because you had sent in the question, I was able to feel into it a little bit before, but I'm so grateful that you called in, because it's always nice to connect with the energy, like in the voice. And so, yes, Spicer, as we know, is incredibly sensitive. And what he was showing me is that he has one ear tuned into the collective and what's going on, and then one ear tuned into you. And he needs your voice to be more powerful and constant than what's going on in the collective. So it's interesting, because in all this talk of the fifth chakra, it sounds like vibrations and music is something that will really kind of help move things around for him. So if you can put on YouTube, and actually for Spicer, it's interesting, it's shamanic drumming comes through more clearly than anything, just kind of that rhythmic, high vibrational. There's one I love that is shamanic drumming. It's like 4-hour loop, and it's set to a crackling fire in like this icy, like it looks like an Iceland or something, but just the vibration of the flutes and the drumming and the fire really helps. So you've absolutely picked up on what's going on. He doesn't want to go out there because it is dense and it's in the fear, and you're absolutely right. He can tell from the pheromones and the urine, all that the animals are processing for the humans. So when our animals process our energy, they release it in urine. So you absolutely know what's going on. So part of the solution is going to be music, quote unquote noise, and just your vibration drowning out more so than the collective, because he's so plugged into it. Okay. And it feels almost like, the same way that after 9/11 it was like 24-hour loop of news. It's a 24-hour loop of music, high vibrational things, movement, dance, just helping him move the energy. And then also opening the windows. I know it's winter in New York, so it's kind of chilly, but opening the windows to allow things to go through is going to be important. And especially in New York City, if you are in apartment living, create a little bit of this protective bubble around your apartment, because all of the energy kind of sandwiches on top of each other from our neighbors, adjoining walls, underneath us, above us. So it's really about that energetic hygiene from a spatial standpoint too. Does that make sense? Does that bring up any other questions? Does that feel doable?
That all feels very doable and feels really, really good. I think, that vibration and really, I think what you said about him needing my voice a bit stronger right now really makes sense too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Forward. Yeah.
Yeah, that fifth chakra for you in particular, yeah, it's coming as looking to be strengthened and renewed. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting because it seems as much as the drumming and shamanic stuff is going to be helpful for him, it feels like it's also going to strengthen you as well. So that's quite lovely.
Mm-hmm. And I guess, go ahead.
Do some work. If you know any energetic modalities, that's great. If not, just send some love to his thyroid glands also. His thyroid and adrenals are working on overload. So just send love and light. He's drawing me to thyroid.
Okay. And is there anything else for the broader collective that I should be doing as well?
Sorry, can you ask that again?
Oh, yeah. Just in relation to that, is there anything else that you feel that he's sensing for the broader collective that I should be doing?
For the broader collective. Okay, let me tune in. So it's so interesting because around you, I always get tribal energy and like tribal ancestry. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of going back to that shamanic way of thinking of things and going back to the way that the earlier people kind of viewed world creation, life and death, the cycle of, being born and the cycle of leaving, and how death is really the beginning of something different. Mm-hmm. It's not like there isn't this like attachment to things and people. It's more about that community living and knowing that sense of community, quote unquote, extends beyond the tribe. It's us being in community with nature, with the universe, with the galactic energy. So it's it just seems really interesting for you to explore that right now, and creatively something might come out from it, but just even you holding that space in your apartment is going to benefit your neighbors in ways that you don't even know. But there's something really interesting about studying and going deeper in like how the tribal communities and our, the earlier people viewed situations like this, that in our eyes, in our kind of quote unquote civilization, it feels like end of the world, I'm disconnected, I'm being deprived, whereas for them, big legends were formed or big ahas. I don't know, there's something there if there's something really interesting there to explore.
Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of sense. Thank you.
Beautiful. I'm just listening here. And so part of it also, it's interesting because they're bringing me back to your voice being more powerful and kind of louder. Mm-hmm. You might find that from this you want to broadcast something or create a program about the fables or the stories for like, whether it's for children or for adults, but there's something that feels like it can be broadcast online. Whether it's a YouTube video, I don't know. There just feels like something, like some creative output that wants to come from that.
Okay.
So beautiful. Oh my goodness. Emily, so lovely to have you on the phone. Thank you for
having this.
Yes, absolutely. And big hugs to you and Spicer. I can still see him, giving his, just kind of looking up at me. He's such a special little guy. And I know it's been years since I've seen you guys in person. But oh my gosh, so much love to all of you in NYC. So much love to you guys, and stay entertained, stay happy, stay safe, and keep us posted on how things are going.
Okay, we will. Thank you.
All right, much love to you. I'm going to put you on mute. And so you guys, while I'm thinking about it, I think it's going to be really important for us to be in community. And so what I'm putting together for this Friday is going to be another call sort of like this with a panel. Because I think it's really important for us as pet parents to be able to get information, resources during this time. So I'm putting together a panel of me, a New York City-based vet, another New York City-based dog trainer, and a dog walker or dog walking company, the head of the dog walking company. And we're going to hop on the phone on Friday at 12:30, have open live Q&A. But also just talk about, from our different fields, resources and, anything you need to know in this time where, we might be more concerned about keeping our pets healthy and happy and entertained. So it'll be an opportunity to have these kind of discussions, but with a broader panel of experts. So you'll be seeing emails and posts about that, but I just wanted to give folks the heads up because, having good, reliable information and advice is important. All right, so I'm going to the Q&A. Let's see. So we have Miss Kim. And Kim says, my dog Rosie itches her ears, face, neck, especially when she comes out of her kennel each morning. I'm wondering if she can tell you what is causing her to be itchy. Food allergies, environment, fabrics, her collar. So dearest Kim, medical intuition is definitely not my strong suit. I don't tend to get a lot of information about medical stuff. So I always say, check with the vet or, if you do have that medical intuitive ability, listen to your gut. But what they're showing me is that it's more environmental versus like a food allergy. It might be something that she steps on and picks up, and then when she's in her crate, like it kind of accumulates there. So perhaps give that a nice energetic, but also use a mild detergent to give that a nice cleaning. It has to do, what I'm feeling is like the paws. So it feels like she tracks it in with her paws. So I would check into that. I also would make sure that, just to rule things out, try giving her a few days where she sleeps without her collar on. Let's give that a shot if there's any inkling that that might be it as well. I did talk about this on my first Friday's live, and I'm trying to tap back into the energy, but part of what she had said in that moment was, when we were answering your question on Instagram Live, was that it had to do also with a little bit of frustration energy that you weren't hearing her. That you were hearing her, but you weren't believing it. So she was getting frustrated because she's like, no, that is me talking. So feel a little bit into that and keep us posted on how it's going. Let's see, Miss Bonnie. Bonnie says, hi, Denise, sending love to you and the entire group today. For me, the rainbow colors relate to the chakras, bringing my awareness to each area of my being and reminding me to go inside and allow energies to flow. The pot of gold is always inside us when we're able to stop, feel, and allow ourselves to be present in the moment. Our family has had the opportunity to just be, with fewer tasks to do, and enjoy some us time. If anything else is coming through for Zeus and I, or on behalf of the collective, we'd love to hear it. Much appreciation, gratitude, and peace to you, Bonnie, Zeus, and Collective Spirit Reiki. Bonnie, so beautiful. I love that you remind us that the pot of gold is ultimately in us, and I love how you're equating the rainbows to the chakras. So I'm so glad you've had some time to kind of be away. And so I'm checking in the energy, and it's interesting because what they're saying is you've had time to be away, but it doesn't feel like away time because you are surrounded by other people's energy, which actually in this instance they're showing me is actually a little bit of being away because you're able to take a little bit of a break from Collective Spirit Reiki and all the energetic work that you do. So it's kind of like a nice distraction. So what they're kind of bringing through here for all of us, but also for you, is that notion of balance, of finding the balance between, all the spiritual work and everything we're doing versus us being humans and wanting to play and chase joy and have fun. So this seems to be a nice point of balance because you are, you're being pulled into more of the 3D fun stuff. that sometimes when everybody's going about their schedules, us in the spiritual world, we're kind of doing our energetic work and we're not, kind of joining in on the simple everyday pleasures of being human. So I love that they bring that reminder to us all, because that's guidance I received in the very beginning of the year. A course started being downloaded about that, and it seems like they're bringing it back. So perhaps it's time to re-engage for all of us on the inspiration of taking time to play. And, along what we talked about with Belinda, we are bridging the 3D realities and the 5D realities, and there's beautiful things that we get to do in each of those dimensions. So we still get to be superhuman and enjoy a lovely slice of pizza and belly laugh, but we also have the knowledge and the insight of there's more out there, and there's, this whole beautiful, energetic world to explore that might feel a little more serious sometimes. So finding that balance is an invitation that they're bringing in here. So thank you for bringing that through for us, dearest Bonnie and Zeus, and definitely have so much fun. And for anyone who hasn't yet, check out Collective Spirit Reiki on Facebook. My understanding is Bonnie and Zeus, and they'll be offering a beautiful meditation I believe it's in the next week or so. Lovely. All right, Miss Judy. Judy says, hi, lovely. I'm curious, do the dogs feel the stress that their human family experiences in this moment of time with so much fear in the air? Judy, that is a great question, and our animal companions absolutely pick up on the energy of what's going on. This is kind of the premise of Pet Prana, is that our animal companions are mirrors and they pick up on our energy. So whatever our vibration is, they pick up on and they mirror. The beauty of animals is they're also able to tap into higher vibrations. So as we're able to, as they're kind of holding that unconditional joy, unconditional love, all those vibrations that are higher than the fear that we're experiencing, we're able to tap into those higher vibrations through them. And then we feel that fear and joy, and little by little we let go of some of that dense fear and that dense energy because we're vibrating at the energy of love with them. So our energy and our animal companions' energy are inextricably linked for sure. They pick up on our energy, absolutely. And then there's certain animal companions who not only are sensitive to our energy, but they're really sensitive to the energy of our home, our neighborhood, our community, and the collective. So this is where I love numerology, because what I do is I pull the numerology behind humans' names and pets' names, and I compare them. But what I found is when our animal companions' names vibrate at the 22/4 master number, the 22/4, which is the master builder number, they tend to be extremely sensitive. They're the ones who, even if there's an earthquake across the world, they just pick up on it, and they are out of sorts that day. There's also animal companions that I work with who, on full moons, like clockwork, they have accidents. So our animal companions are definitely tuned into our energy, the energy of their family, the fears, the disappointments, the sadness, the joy. They're absolutely linked to that. But then some are even more sensitive beyond that to what's going on in the community or even in the collective. So that's a beautiful awareness to have. And so that's why it's such a beautiful testament that when we see our animals being joyful and playful, we know that we hold some of that within ourselves, and we can kind of dial that up as needed. So in this moment where there can be a little bit of fear, whether it's in the home or in the collective, it's important for us to make sure that we're acknowledging it, we're letting it flow through, because if we try to kind of stick our head in the sand, that's not going to work either. That's avoidance, right? We want to say, yeah, things are a little scary, But right now, I'm choosing to go look at the sky and realize that there's so much more going on out there that's good. Or I choose to change my perspective and really focus on what the pot of gold is right now. That I have some free time at home to connect with family or, kind of engage in that project, that crafting project that I don't seem to have had the time to do. So it's all about us shifting our energy in order to help our animals feel more safe and secure. Because at the end of the day, sometimes that's the one thing that really motivates us to shift our perspective and move through, what I like to call energetic clutter, is knowing that when we do better and we vibe higher, our animal companions will vibe higher as well. So that's such a beautiful question, and it's kind of a lovely way to bring us full circle. I know this has been a lot longer than our average Tipsy Tuesday call, so thank you for hanging in with me. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for sharing your pots of gold and, what's going on for you, because we've really, in this soul pack, we all learn from each other. And I'm just so grateful that I have so many loving pet parents to share this moment with and be connected with, and I'm just so grateful for all of you. Know that, we covered a lot, so if you'd like to access the replay, please do use the same link that you used to join live today or in the email about today. You'll be able to access the replay, and please share it with other pet parents who might benefit from this. Because these are discussions that, a lot of us, we surround ourselves with these kind of more mindful aspects of pet guardianship, but not everyone has those communities. So if you feel that this might be a helpful resource or tool to someone, please do share. The Pet Prana pack is open to anyone who signs up for the newsletter. They'll be, put on and receive information and resources. And I think in this time, as we talked about as a group, we really need to feel supported, and it's beautiful to be able to be supported in optimism and like-hearted people. So I'm so grateful to you guys. I'm sending you so much love. And until next time, happy training.